Yo, what's up, guys? We have to talk about a little bit of a problem that we have right now in the game. So this has been a pretty hot topic recently. It's in the thumbnail, it's in the title, it's everywhere. It's Dragoon. It's just Dragoon. Remember when we were in Orcust format and people used to say 1 plus 1 is full combo? Well, it's maybe not full combo, but it's a hell of a strong card. So I'm not really here to complain about the power of Dragoon, because, you know, we all know at this point, we've all felt it at this point. Dragoon is just a very strong card. When you start reading this card, it just doesn't end. Literally, each and every single effect of this card is broken in some form of way. He destroys twice, that doesn't target and burns, which is like insane. He negates, destroys, and gains attack, which is insane. Cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed, which is also insane. I swear, if this guy had the effect that he couldn't be tributed, it would have been like the perfect monster. But now I know, you know, you run those bricks, you play the Dark Magician and the Red Eyes, you lose a couple of games on them. And I know. But more recently, it has been popping up a little bit again. Now, when this format started, we've had a pretty healthy format. We've had the Tri-Brigades running around, and the Virtual World, and the Prank Hits. And you know, it doesn't really matter what you say, whether you like it or not. It was a pretty balanced format. The decks were overall fair, and the power level wasn't absurd. Like, the only real absurd deck this format is Drytrons, but that was like kinda outfavored by those mid-range decks. But now that the format is developing and growing a little bit bigger, people are trying out different things again, and one of the things is Dragoon, because Dragoon in a mid-range format is still pretty good. It's still very difficult to out, and a lot of decks just cannot really deal with Dragoon. Now, meta decks, you know, you can side, it's an outable card, we all know this, we all know the stories. But now that it's being played in Drytron, it has been becoming a little bit more of a problem. Because, for example, against a deck like Drytron, you already need like multiple hand traps, and even if you played everything out correctly, you know, you Valered the Mubeta, you Impermed the Diviner, maybe you Ashed the Nova as well. 1 plus 1 is still Verte Anaconda. And maybe that's the problem, and maybe not Dragoon. Maybe Verte is a little bit too strong. If you take a look at the future, with Fusion Enforcers coming out, you have the new hero boss monster, of course, that's gonna untargetable pop monsters revive itself in the next standby phase. Yikes, that's also going to be a little bit of a rogue killer, maybe even more impactful than Dragoon. But there's a small difference between the two, because people often compare them, and I get why, because they're both easy to access fusion monsters, and they both come back every time. One stays at least, one doesn't come back. The difference is Fusion Destiny. Now, Dragoon in any normal deck can only realistically be summoned with Verte Anaconda, because if you activate Red Fusion, you cannot normal or special summon, you can only set for the rest of the turn. Fusion Destiny could just be the last card you activate. You just go full combo, activate Fusion Destiny, pass turn. And even if you make Verte as the last monster because you didn't draw it, it's still fine, because you can still just combo one. So with that in mind, I'm kind of knowing how Konami works, right? Because Konami never really preemptively destroys something. They sometimes do, you know, remember the Dragon Rulers and the Galaxy Eyes, that was a lot of fun, right? Everyone that bought Maximum Gold day one, and then the rulers all got slayed. That was a lot of fun. But that was really the only kind of thing that I can remember where something got like preemptively like destroyed. And I think we're gonna be in a format with the new hero for a little while. I think that's pretty safe to assume that that's a card that's gonna be like there. Just like Dragoon basically has been. But again, the difference is Verte or Fusion Destiny. I think that the new hero monster with Fusion Destiny, at least for a while, is gonna be completely fine to play. But I think that we just cannot really have both in the same format. I think that at that point it's just gonna be a little bit obnoxious, right guys? So what do we do in this situation? We got new cards coming out that, you know, are just not gonna get banned yet. And then we have old cards that are kind of still a problem, because apparently every Link 2 from Duo Overload is kind of a problem at the end of the day. So yeah, I think, personally, objectively speaking, Dragoon isn't gonna go. Banning Dragoon doesn't really make sense. For the decks that it is designed for, take that with a grain of salt. Dark Magician and Red Eyes both really still you need to use the card. And they really just do. Banning Red Eyes Fusion is super hard for the Red Eyes archetype. That's barely even alive at this point, except for that card. And they're not gonna ban Dark Magician. It would be really funny, but they're not gonna ban Dark Magician. So that leaves Dragoon, but Dragoon is still kind of needed in those decks. But there's something else you have to think about. Because next to Verte Anaconda, one of the easiest ways to splash Dragoon is just 3 Red Eyes Fusion in a trap deck. Like we've seen with Eldritch and with Subterror, for example. And people have also kind of been complaining about that. And to kind of cater towards everyone and to remove Dragoon from the generic decks, I think it's a pretty safe assumption that Dragoon is going to be limited on the next Forbidden and Limited list. Limited at 1 makes it so that, you know, decks with Extravaganza, the trap decks, will probably not run him anymore because that's extremely scary to only run 1 Dragoon. Imagine drawing Red Eyes Fusion, be happy, look at your banish pile, and there he is. Guess what? You're not gonna be able to summon him. Nobody's ever gonna play that. Nobody's ever gonna do that. So that leaves us with the other guy, plant, thing, Verte Anaconda. Verte is a objectively insane card. It helps multiple decks. It's been played in Shadows, it's been played in Invoked with the Neos package. It's been played in basically every fusion deck ever because it's just good. Thunder Dragon really works well with it, and I really don't want it to go, but I actually kind of think that Verte has got to go. This card is just gonna be a problem. Every 1/1 monster will end in a Verte, no matter what deck you play. It doesn't require any setup, you don't have to do anything, they just need to be 2 effect monsters, that's all. And it's every deck can do that. Can your deck do that? My deck can do that. And so does everyone else's deck, because I've lost to this card multiple times already, where you played out your hand exactly. They have 2 random monsters on the field that don't even synergize with each other, can't overlay, can't synchro, can't nothing with it. Nope. Verte Anaconda. I think it's pretty reasonable to say that with new cards coming out, a look at the future, a look at the past, it's pretty fair that Verte Anaconda is going to get banned eventually. The thing is, it's kind of difficult not to compare it with Hulk of Fibrex, except that Hulk of Fibrex, everything was banned around it. It's gonna be really difficult to ban everything around Verte. At that point, why do you keep Verte around if it's just gonna be like abused in every deck? I think the card is just way too generic for what it does. It's way too strong for what it does, and you know, it's a perfect Predaplant card, but I wish it would have stayed in Predaplant decks, because now it's just in literally everyone's deck. So I think that the future will bring Dragoon to 1, Verte Anaconda banned. And it's gonna be rough for a lot of decks. Thunder Dragon, Phantom Knights, Drytrons, Guru, Eldritch, just so many decks, Orcus, that Dragon Link that can rely on dark monsters and just win from there on. But I think that it's way better to get this card out now before it's gonna become a problem again and again and again. Because, you know, you may not see it for a couple of months, but after that it's gonna come back again and again and again and again. With no reprint coming relatively soon, no word on anything, it's pretty safe to assure that this card is gotta be gone in a little bit. Unfortunate, but definitely expected and more than deserved. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about Dragoon. Do you think the card should stay at 3, should come to 4 maybe even, or should it be common in the next OTS pack and then everyone can play with it for a month before we completely ban it and annihilate it? And what do you think about Phoenix Enforcer? Do you think that card's gonna warp the meta? Or is it just gonna be a bad Drytron with bricks? Or is it just gonna be a bad Zodiac with bricks? Who knows what the future will hold? Just my assumptions and thoughts and, you know, everything that I've read online. And think about it like this. Get them out of the way now and the complaining stops. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.